What's up, YouTube? Adam Patterson, of course, out here. And I just want to talk about making sure that you stay aligned with who you are, what you enjoy, and everything you want to do in your life. And I'll give you some personal examples. Every time that I have ever done something that I am very proud of in my life, there have been some true staples to it. Number one, I've been working. Number two, I've been going to the gym. And number three, I've been improving my mental and physical abilities. And number four, I've been watching my finances. Now, where am I going with this and why do I bring it up? And the reason is because if you haven't seen my prior video about priorities and making sure you have everything straight in your life, success doesn't happen in a vacuum. I, for much of my life, have been focused on building a company or starting a company and making a whole bunch of money from said company that I can just have a bunch of money. And every time that I ever saw some success, I always shot myself in the foot. And one portion of my life would be moving forward in terms of business, but the latter portions of my life or the other portions of my life would either be stagnating or receding. And I would put a lot of things on the back burner which shouldn't have been. I would not prioritize relationships with friends and family that I could focus on making more money and growing this business. I would not focus on my health and my fitness and staying in shape and staying mentally and everything prepared because I was focused on this business. And I would just dedicate so much of myself to one aspect of life that all of the others were neglected. And if anything about watering plants or about growing vegetables in your yard or anything, this, a garden, what have you, if you don't pay attention to it, if you don't put any light onto it, if you don't water it, it's not going to grow, it's going to die. And success does not happen in a vacuum. With that, I mean, everything in life moves in a direction. Momentum always happens. And whatever your most momentum is what will take over. If you focus on one area, you might start to see some success in this area. But if all of your life goes backwards or goes down and you just see some success here, your entire life is going to drag down, and then you're not going to feel positive about what you're doing in your business or what you chose to focus on, and that will also start to slow and or fade. In my life, there have always been staples. I've always had passions, and one of them being health and fitness and sports, the other being making money in business, and then the last is personal growth and development. And throughout college, when I grew my first companies and made my first money, I was prioritizing all three of these things. My personal growth and development, I was reading every day. I was going to school. I was making sure that my brain was working. I was making sure to do the work in order to learn what I could to improve my business. And then I would grow my business outside of class hours or sometimes inside of class hours. And then I was making sure to go to the gym and stay in physical good shape. And this is when I started to see my life go in a completely positive direction. And whatever things happen to where I fall off of one of those things, I stop reading, I stop journaling, I stop going to the gym, I always have seen my work output and results deteriorate. I say all that to say I am realigned with who I am. I am back to working hard. My priorities are straight in my business. I still prioritize my at-home relationships with my fiance, soon-to-be wife. I still prioritize moving forward in life. I am reading, I am journaling, I am making sure to push myself when we move into this next home. That is a push. That is progress towards where I actually want to be. And you have to become and do the things that make you who you want to be first before you can actually be that person or do that thing. But you have to push yourself to get there. And in that same thing, I'm back in the gym again. And I'm pushing myself there because I have goals in life and there are staples that I have. And there are things that I've always done and things that you will always do that will be staples in your life that when you get away from them, you're not aligned with who you truly are. And because of that, you're not actually moving forward in your life. You're not actually happy up here. You need to do a few things. And where I'll go with this and where I want to touch on in this is there will be a lot of people who give you a lot of opinions or will have a lot of input and say into your life. And you are going to have to choose to either listen to them and accept what they say and then go along with it, which will not make you happy, or you will have to do what you want to do. And in my entire life, I've always had my family members, especially, have always said, you're too focused on working out. You need to stop doing this. Your body's starting to look weird because I started to get bigger and I started to get more muscular and I started to look a little bit different than most people. They've always said it about my business. You can't possibly go into business for yourself. You need to go get a job. At least it's going to be stable and you're going to be able to predict what you're going to make and it's going to be there for sure. Never wanted to do that, but I did it because I wanted people to just shut the hell up. Reading, I don't read fiction books. I read nonfiction books, and most of them are on self-help, personal development, sales, and business. And with that, I've had family members say, you need to expand what you read upon. You're boring. You're focused on one thing. And it's always been this constant conversation and this constant nag of you should do other things because we're not as dedicated as you. And you just have to realize that it always comes from this place of they aren't willing to do what you are willing to do. Their passions are not the same as your passions. They're going to try and steer you in the direction of their passions, just the way I'm steering you in the direction of mine. If you want to start a business, go out and start a business. If you want to get to the gym, go get to the gym. If you want to read books and journal, go out and read books and then journal. My passions are not your passions. Your passions are not my passions. My family's passions are not my passions. But you need to choose what you need to do that you can be happy in life, feel fulfilled, and actually work towards your goals, because that's the only thing that's ever going to make you happy. It's why I had to move from New York to Tennessee. It's why I had to quit a job to start my business. It's why I had to get back to the gym and prioritize timing to where I can't focus on business 24/7. I do have to get to the gym and put my phone away that I can focus on myself, my health, and getting bigger and stronger and the things that I want to do, because my end goal in life isn't just to be big and strong. It's to be healthy. And I want to live to be 100 to 120 years old. That maybe not that old, but I want to be in good condition for my entire life so that when I'm 40, 50, 60 years old, I can play with my kids. I can play with my grandkids. I can spend time. I can go do this. I can pick stuff up. I can still fix things. I can still help out around the house. I'm not going to be a burden on society and my family because I didn't choose to do these things while I was younger. And that is my life ending goal. That's the reason why I wanted to start a business. I wanted to own my time. I want to be able to determine I'm going to hang out with my family today. I'm not going to go into my office. I'm going to take my kids to school and I'm not going to get to the office at 8 a.m., 7 a.m. I'm going to get in at 9 a.m. And the meetings are going to have to wait on me because it is my company and I made the choices when I was younger to take the risk to go without an income, to then go out and create my own income, because I would rather own my time than get paid for it. With that being said, I am back in alignment of who I am, who I want to be, and where I want to go in life. And you need to go out and find the same for yourself. Need is a funny word to say. I'm not the government. I'm not the person to tell you what you need. But I do believe that if you want to be happy, you will need to get out and find the things that you're passionate about that you can then choose to spend more time on and then figure out your path from there. I would suggest you to go out and I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction, and I don't want to say don't go get a job. But if you have a passion for a business that you want to start or a passion of yours, find a way to make it a business. And if you can't do that immediately, go get a job and think about it in your after hours and then work on it. And then once you make enough to cover your bills, you don't have to do anything crazy in order to be in business for yourself. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it from the clearest point of heart and point of mind that I have for you. I would work for myself every single day for $32,000 a year, if that's all I made, which is less than $3,000 a month. I would work for myself if I could make $32,000 a year. And it's way better than if I were to work for somebody else, make $150,000 a year. And I say this because I've been in both positions. But I would rather work for myself for $32,000 a year and live paycheck to paycheck, where I am a little bit maybe not paycheck to paycheck, where I have some savings and then everything that I'm making covers my monthly outgoing, where if an emergency popped up, I could cover it. And then I would just have to really hustle my ass off to recover those savings. But I would rather work for myself and make $32,000 a year and be able to dictate whatever I do with my time and don't have to go into an office, don't have to listen to anybody, and don't have to report to anybody and fill quotas, than I would making $150,000, $160,000 a year, reporting to somebody else, kissing ass, making it so that my feelings, my thoughts, my intuition is never known, and I just have to sit there and be quiet because these people pay me. And I've been in both positions. I have enjoyed both positions. I've enjoyed making a lot of money. I've enjoyed making a little money while working for myself. And I 100% every day of the week, I think I would rather do this because I could still go out and get a job right now. I make enough money to where I don't have to, luckily. But if everything went down and I only made enough to cover my own bills, I would still choose to do this than go into an office. I would rather live on my own terms than I would live in a surplus, working for someone else, not on my own terms. And that is the point that I want to get to. That's the point that I want to get across to you, is that is in alignment with me. I would go homeless if I did not have a family. If I didn't have my fiance, soon to be wife, and we didn't have what could be future children. We're not pregnant or anything. But I would choose to be homeless now with my experiences and what I've chosen in life. I would choose to be homeless and go to a library and work from there and try and find a way to make money that way than I would reporting to a business just so I could live a mediocre life. I want to live it my own way, dictate time for myself, and dictate what I do with my day in and day out than I would going into somebody else's place of business and being bossed around and told what to do. It doesn't jive with me. All that to say, go get in alignment with yourself, figure out what those things are that put you in alignment with yourself, and then choose those over anything else. And I hope this was useful, guys. I hope it's maybe educational, maybe informational, or whatever that word would be. And don't forget to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel for more, because they're always covered. Appreciate you guys.